ladies and gentlemen of all ages, boys and girls. Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Angry Meat Production. We appreciate you coming in and letting us be a part of your lives week in and week out. We hope to do our best to present you with something that your eardrums delight in. Whether you're looking at us on YouTube or Rumble, or listening to us on Spotify, Google, or Anchor, or any of the other podcast services that we are currently on or trying to get on, we thank you. And if you don't mind, at the end of every episode, stop by, leave us a comment, leave us a like. If it asks for 5 stars, we'll take 5 stars, even if you don't like us. 5 stars are what it's all about. With that being said, we hope you enjoy our attempt to make our advocation our vocation. Ladies and gentlemen, let the games begin.
Welcome, Angry Faithful. Today on Nerd Sports 10. Is it 3 or 4? I think it's 3.
I think it's 4.
And my big.
Yeah, we lose count after. I mean, much like a centenarian. And David, that's a big $35 an hour word for somebody who's past the age of 100. You start to get a little loopy, and you really don't care about counting birthdays anymore. You just wait for that moment where the reporter comes to you and asks you what your key to longevity is, and you tell them either you drink a Dr. Pepper a day or you have a Shiner Bock a day, and that's your key to the fountain of youth.
Hell, my great grandmother is like 101, and she was like, "Well, what's your secret to longevity?" Bottle of whiskey and a cigar.
You know, or in our case, it would be to make sure that you have at least 2 cups of Black Rifle coffee a day.
At least 2.
At least 2.
Yeah. Anyways, today we're going to go ahead and talk about the good soccer sport that I just showed Chris and you this week. Midgets versus obese people.
Also known as the express train to hell.
Yeah.
You're gonna laugh. There's no getting around it.
Wait until next week
that without laughing.
I say I'm saving next week because I've found another sport that I'm really into now. There are reasons.
Mostly legal reasons, that is. Not
God,
that it
fucking I was listening to Drinking Bones yesterday because they do fake news twice a week now. And it's like, God, I'm trying to figure out the phrase because it's fucking hilarious. Yeah, it's legal. No, it was, yeah, it's appropriate for being illegal. I had to go back to the phrase. I probably messed that up entirely. But it was
probably it's part of your charm, though.
The odds are high.
So high. I might get one.
Or he's
I might get the same percentages as how many people get killed by COVID.
Dude, there you go. There's your new game show.
Yeah.
Which is higher?
Yeah. Yeah.
True. Very, very true.
So, sports. So, the big thing that I sent everybody was the for baseball for Johnny, the miswritten rule. Oh, they just basically trashed that. Well, it was the Texas Rangers that they trashed.
Yeah, that I was so upset watching that too. And again, massive Rangers fan. He didn't do anything wrong.
No,
he is there to put runs on the freaking board. That whole unwritten rule bullshit, and this is probably putting me in the minority. I don't care. That whole unwritten rule shit, and him,
well, even the manager was like
being forced to apologize for doing his job.
Yeah.
No, that is what he is there to do. He is there to put points on the board, period. It doesn't matter. And what really bothers me is what difference would it make if he would have taken that pitch, made it a full count, and then hit the grand slam in the next pitch? All of a sudden, magically, that makes it okay.
Yeah, well, you know, here's the thing. I get that there's the whole gentleman rule, whatever, you know, don't look at a home run too long, you know, whatever. I get that. Now, to an extent, I mean, there's a fine line between being a showman and just being a gentle horse's ass, right?
Sure.
So, you know, you've got, you know, I mean, okay, so if you're a rookie, you show up, you act like you've been there before, you don't pimp your home runs. At the major league level yet. So, you know, you get your second year, your third year, your fourth year, so on, so forth. You get after like 10 years where you're able to actually draw a pension, you qualify for a pension if you retire. At that point, you know, you're a consistent performer, you've got good numbers, you know, for your entire career. And, you know, you've been to the postseason a couple of times. You don't necessarily have to win the World Series, but you've been to the postseason a couple of times. Then you've started to earn yourself some swagger points, right? You know, you can come in, you can, you know, do some of these things, and that's fine. But, you know, the whole, oh, well, you know, you're already up by 10 or 12 runs, roll over and just strike out to end the, and, you know, and who does that? I mean, really, who does that? I mean, if you are able to put up more numbers, to create more offense, to get, you know, to raise your on base percentage, your batting average, your slugging average, rack up the number of RBIs and runs, total bases touched, the whole 9 yards. You know, every statistical category that an offensive player can get, if you're in a position to where you can do that to help, you know, cement yourself, or in the case of like a contract year where you're looking to go into free agency, or negotiating a new contract or an extension with your existing team, fine. Do it. Make yourself as marketable as possible. The part of the unwritten rule that I agree with is that, you know, again, it doesn't matter how much time you've got in the majors. If you find yourself in a position where you're, you know, up 10 or 12 runs and bases are loaded, you come up to bat, you know, if the ball comes out and it's just kind of hanging there, if it's a hanging slider, curveball, or if it's a fastball right down the heart of the plate, and you're able to extend those arms and not get that wrist to roll over, and you're able to park one in the stands, by all means do it, but do it and then take, you know, and then run the bases. Don't trot, don't walk, don't sit there at the home plate and fucking stare at it until it clears the wall and then, you know, drop the bat. You know, just fucking move it along. You know, wait for the guy in the batting order behind you to roll over, you know, hit the contact or whatever.
Yeah, but here's the thing on that. After that they switched pitchers, and the next pitcher being the next player.
Yeah, intentionally. Like, yeah. So they punished him for what they perceived as a slight.
Yeah,
and it wasn't directly down. Like, if you watch the pitch, he caught the outside of the plate on that.
Yeah,
like, it was a strike, but it wasn't. He didn't hang one over the plate there.
Yeah, I mean, but again, not every player is built the same. You know, I mean, you look at Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn over the course of his 19-year career struck out less than 400 times. Okay. We've got guys that are racking up 400 strikeouts over the course of their first 4 years in the majors.
Right.
Okay. You've got people like Tom Glavine, who he threw a complete game with 87 pitches. You know, and I'm like, all right, if you're good enough to do that, then do it. If you're able to reach out and barrel that ball up, or at least put it into play, you owe it to yourself. You owe it to the guys in front of you. You owe it to the people in the batting order behind you to do that. I mean, because and this is the part of the game where you start to look at the business aspect of it, because you got guys that have clauses built into their contracts where they get bonuses for plate appearances, RBIs, batting over a certain percentage every year, you know, a number of bases touched, you know, this, that, and the other. And so you got guys that are looking at that from a monetary standpoint. And I'm sorry, call me selfish. I don't care. But if I'm in a position where I'm potentially one swing of the bat away from cashing in on $100,000 or a $200,000 or a $250,000 bonus because I did A, B, or C, I'm swinging. That's all there is to it. I'm swinging the bat, and the pitcher is just there racking up a pitch count, or if it's a position player who has, you know, under the new rules, been brought in because his team is down by like 10 runs, then fine. You know, he's just the next victim. Because in the box score, it's not going to matter if you hit that off of Joe Snuffy, first baseman, or you hit it off of, you know, ace closer, you know, fucking Joe Bob. It doesn't matter, because that the only thing that matters in the box scores are the stats. And that's what you take, and your agent, or, you know, whatever, they gather all that statistical information at the end of the year when it comes time to either renegotiate your contract, work out an extension, or if you're going into the free agent market, they take that's the only information that matters, is the stuff that you put up in that box score, day in and day out for 162 games. And, you know, and you got guys that are in the business of, well, I say in the business, it's, you know, when they get called up to the major leagues, they want to win. And they want to win long enough to where, you know, they either get their number retired by the team that they were playing for, or they end up in Cooperstown. And
okay, I don't know the reference of Cooperstown.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, Cooperstown is Baseball Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay.
So whether you get in on your first ballot or, you know, your last ballot, it doesn't matter. I mean, the goal for a major league player is to get there. And, you know, you got your guys that they know they're not going to get in, but they're there trying to make an impact for as long as possible, because they're there living out their childhood dream.
Yeah.
Playing Major League Baseball for, you know, they're getting paid to play a game. They're flying all over the country for 6 months out of the year. And, you know, their ultimate goal every season is to play in the World Series and have a chance at winning the championship. But yeah, like I said, you know, the only part of the unwritten rule that I even remotely care about is don't pimp the home run. Just, you know, you hit it, you know, it's gone.
Swagger on it.
Which, I mean, because anybody who's ever hit a home run will tell you that the second that thing explodes off the head of the bat, you barely feel it. I mean, it just, home runs feel different. I mean, as soon as you make contact with it, you know it's gone. And, you know, you'll get your guys that that'll watch them every once in a while. And I mean, I don't agree with those. You know, I mean, you get guys like Ken Griffey Jr. I mean, as soon as the ball came off the head of the bat, they knew it was gone. They'd walk for like 10 feet and then they would go into their, into their trot.
Yeah.
Now you get guys like Jose Bautista when they were playing the Rangers in the postseason, that wild card game a few years back. I mean, he got that pitch belt high on the inside. He turned on it. And as soon as he stood there and watched it, waited for it to clear the fence, and then he threw his bat like the mother of all bat flips. And I'm just sitting there going, when Odor knocked him the hell out the following year after sliding into second, I mean, it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Agreed.
You know, so hitting players, fine. Yeah, I'm all about beating a hitter, or taking it out on somebody in that lineup the second they step into that batter's box. And even then, there's rules to that. You know, don't aim at a guy's head, because you're putting guys' career in jeopardy.
And live.
Hit him in the ass. You know, aim at his hip. He'll turn. It'll hit him in the butt cheek, or hit him in the back of the leg. Maybe the small, your xiphoid process, that little piece of cartilage down here. Anything from there up, completely and totally off limits if it's going to be done intentional.
Yeah.
Now, what about the new thing that came to revelations that the Dodgers were cheating during the time frame that Houston was cheating at and won the pennant? And the only reason why they went with them, because they found out that there was several teams that were stealing signs.
Stealing signs has been a part of the game since the game was created. Okay.
But they ended up just doing Houston because they won the pennant. And if the Dodgers won the pennant, it would have been the Dodgers.
Here's the thing. The numbers that the Astros were putting up in 2017 begged everybody to look at them. If you look at the stats, their batting averages, the splits between home games and away games, they were hitting like 25 to 30 points higher at home. And it's because they've got those strategic places in their home ballpark where they can hide cameras that zoom in and look at signals, versus on the road where, they had the banging trash can. Now, when you're talking about, things like stealing signs, again, everybody does it. Everybody does it. Where the 2018 Red Sox came in, where the 2017 Astros came in, where the 2018 Dodgers and even the 2020 Dodgers were coming in. They were using technology, Apple Watches, buzzers hidden under the jerseys. That's the part that I'm like, okay, you're taking it a little far. Because the more innovative that you get with your sign stealing techniques, the higher likelihood that you're going to have of getting caught.
Yeah.
And when you get caught, you weren't trying hard enough. And it was just because they were so bold and brazen about it during that 2017 season, both teams, Dodgers and the Astros. And the reason why the Astros caught so much hell about it was because of the reaction from the team itself and the players involved with the scandal. AJ Hinch, who was the manager at the time, and Alex Cora, who was the bench coach for Houston that season. I mean, they stepped up and they were like, look, we were the leader. I mean, we were the manager and the coaching staff. So, I mean, we should have accepted responsibility for that and stopped it. And they didn't. The part that everybody just, nags, or at least at some point up until last year, when the Astros finally won a clean title. The part that everybody hated about it was the fact that the players, almost to a man, just denied. I mean, they just deny, and it was like they didn't want to accept any responsibility for any part of it.
Yeah.
Even though it was proven, they didn't want to accept any responsibility for it. And I think that was the thing that rubbed people the most wrong. And I really don't blame fans. I don't blame other teams. I don't blame the other players. And I mean, because everybody on every level of baseball knows, hey, look, you're always trying to find that advantage. And that goes beyond baseball. I mean, it's racing, it's football, it's hockey, basketball, and it's like, I mean, even cycling. I mean, everybody's trying to find an edge. Everybody's trying to find something that is in that gray area that's not quite violating the rules, but it's not following to the letter either.
You think,
And
other than, my brain just hit. Do you think that Lance Armstrong got an edge by having one less ball?
no, what I think it did is it opened a Pandora's box for him, because when you go through chemo and you beat cancer, there's certain things that you have to do in order to get back to 100% health. And it just became the norm for him to include blood doping, where he was pumping extra blood. I mean, there at certain points he was carrying an extra pint of blood in his body. And it was to enable him the ability to carry more oxygen, so that way he could go longer and he could go harder, and without the burnout that everybody else gets whenever you're pumping those pedals trying to climb those French mountains. So, I mean, the thing about, and it's one thing that they don't stress enough amongst kids these days, or just society in general. And it's one thing that was drilled into all three of us when we were in the military. It's accountability.
Yeah.
And so I mean, if you get caught doing something, say, hey, you know what? We tried it. We got caught doing it. I accept responsibility for it. We're just not going to do it again. And
Jocko Willink wrote extreme ownership.
Yeah.
Yeah, extreme ownership. That's a great term. And
Which I need to get that book.
So it's I don't know. To me, I just kind of find it funny that they just harp on umpires making the game about themselves. You got to add these stupid rules, and making the game shorter, making the bases longer. I mean, the game's going to evolve. I mean, as long as it doesn't evolve to the point where the game becomes unrecognizable, I'm fine with it.
Well, I mean, the umpire thing, like you can make the argument for the umpires, because
oh yeah, absolutely. Because when you go into a ball, and when you go to a ballpark to watch a game, or you're playing in a game, it's about the players on the field. The umpires are there just to make sure that everybody's adhering to the rules.
Right.
And it's the same thing with football. Oh, well, that wasn't a holding call. That cost the Eagles the Super Bowl. Well, no, because the guy that committed the foul, the penalty, in the locker room after the game admitted, yeah, I held him. I just didn't think they'd see it.
Exactly.
But everybody gets so bent out of shape because now they're, especially people in Philadelphia, they're having to go buy, brand new TVs because they're ripping them off the walls or hitting them with crap. And, and I'm just like, one, that's on y'all for not being able to control your temper. But, two, it's like, your team fell short, and now you're just deflecting. You're trying to find some way to create a straw man argument to divert the attention from the fact that your guys they didn't necessarily choke. They just got outplayed. And I think that was the case with the last Super Bowl, is the fact that the Eagles just got outplayed in the second half. I mean, pure, plain and simple. But with all that being said, it's like, I don't know. This season so far has been fun to watch.
No, it's just the beginning of it. So far.
Right. So far, that was the qualifying statement. Thank you for participating in the conversation. It's.
He woke
I mean,
up.
we've got the Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, they're 10-0 now. I mean, statistically and speaking, it is physically and logistically impossible to go to go 162-0. For those of us who played King Griffey Jr. Presents Major League Baseball on the Super Nintendo, it was possible, because if you lost the game, you just hit the reset button. Because that was before the days when we had cloud saving and auto saving, that kind of a deal. But
You could do it on the show if you set your settings all the way down to rookie.
not even then, because because
it's just hitting fastballs over the plate for every pitch. If you
see,
set it low enough, it will.
if you take the CPU sliders and move them all the way to the left.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, well, then at that point, the pitchers just they're not accurate at all.
No, you turn your pitcher all the way up.
Yeah, but then he's just pumping heat and throwing stupid off-speed shit in like counts that don't make sense. It's like, they'll start you off with a curveball, and then they'll pitch you backwards, kind of a thing. And then when they go for that strikeout pitch, instead of using their primary pitch, which is usually like a four-seam fastball that rises on you, they throw that backdoor slider, and you're just way out in front of it looking stupid. But it's like right now I'm playing MLB 20, the show 23, and dude, I'm just like, the game more than anything else is just making sure that you're building your player to train during his off days. Like hitting the training room, hitting the batting cages, going to the practice field, and building those stats. And then, like, when you're actually in the game hitting, it's all about timing. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like right now I'm playing for AA Portland in the Red Sox system. And I've got 43 home runs already.
Good Lord.
Got like a 32 game hitting streak. I'm batting like 653, and I'm sitting there going, what the fuck do I got to do to get promoted to AAA? I mean, I'm just like, seriously? But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, the season's early. It's been fun to watch so far. We do have some NFL news though. Yeah, I saw something earlier today. Let me see here.
Can Washington finally get rid of
No, we're not that lucky yet. The Buccaneers linebacker Devin White, he was taken in the first round back in 2019 by the Buccaneers.
Mm-hmm.
He requested a trade today.
Really?
From the Bucs, yeah. Kentucky quarterback Will Levi is visiting the Tennessee Titans and the Buccaneers later this week. Both teams. Well, I don't say both teams. Because if Levi goes to Tampa Bay, he's going to play backup to Baker Mayfield for the entire season.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they just signed Baker Mayfield to that contract. So the Lions traded their cornerback, Jeff Okudah, to the Falcons for a 5th round pick this year.
Yeah, because it's getting down to the line because next week's going to be the draft.
Yeah, and
Chris, is it next week or the week after?
And there's still no end in sight for the DeAndre Hopkins drama right now. There's rumors that he's going to be coming to Dallas. Dallas is willing to give up a couple of draft picks to get him. There's rumors that he's going to end up in Green Bay. There's rumors that he's going to end up as a Giant. I'm just like, wow. So
I just like all the hype on a lot of the players that are like in the first couple.
and
of
Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah.
finally signed a contract with the team. He's going to be a Baltimore Raven next year, so he's going to be catching passes from Lamar Jackson. So we'll see what happens. The first time somebody spits a sunflower seed shell out on the field, Odell Beckham will Odell Beckham Jr. is going to go out with another torn ACL. Yeah, he's going to slip and fall on it. He's going to tear his ACL again.
I just watched that clip. Was it from
on TikTok?
No, on the movie, Not Another Teen Movie, where a guy like spits a
he spits the sunflower seed out onto the field.
Just totally breaks.
And his leg breaks from like the knee down, and then he's trying to stand up on it and it breaks the other way. And I'm like, oh God. In hockey though, the Boston Bruins did it. They did it. They now officially hold the record for the most wins in a single NHL season with 63.
Nice.
No. I figured the way they were going, I figured it was going to happen, but it's good to pull it out.
I mean, literally, and all they have to do, they have to score 2 more points. I mean, like you win, you get 2 points, right? They've got to score 2 more points to beat the all-time points record for a single season in the NHL. So it's fine that they're setting all these records, and it's been a season for the ages.
Yeah, but you start with a
but it doesn't mean shit, because once the postseason starts, you've got 16 wins that you got to go out and grab.
Yeah.
At that point, the only ones that matter.
I mean, we won't call it a bad season. We won't call it a meaningless season, because, nobody's going to touch that record for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
But it will almost just kind of come out in the wash if the Bruins do not bring Lord Stanley's Cup back to Boston.
It was like the Athletics when they did their Moneyball shit. I mean, they got 20 wins, but they didn't come back with that pennant.
Well, yeah, they won 20 games in a row, and they made the playoffs on a payroll that was maybe a quarter of some of the medium market teams. But it's what it did is it opened up a new door on how a team could be constructed, because the 2004 Red Sox emulated that type of mentality, and then they went out and won the World Series.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really the only household names that they had on that team were Pedro Martinez. You had Nomar Garciaparra for most of the season before they traded him, away at the trade deadline. But you had people like Curt Schilling, Kevin Millar, you had Keith Folk, you had Johnny Damon, David Ortiz during that season. I mean, that was David Ortiz's only second season in Boston. He didn't become a Red Sox until 2003, and that was at the behest of Pedro Martinez urging the front office to go out and sign him from the Minnesota Twins during the offseason. And now he's got a bridge and a street named after him. His number's retired. It's hanging on the facade. He's in Cooperstown. He's got 4 World Series rings. One of those is an MVP ring. So it's like, it's certain cities are better suited for different players, and one little piece of baseball news. The Red Sox picked up Adam Duvall during the offseason from the Atlanta Braves. And he was by far and away the hottest hitter on the planet for the first week and a half of the season. The last game, the getaway day game for this 3-game set that they had in Detroit, he was running in to kind of try to get up underneath this bloop, pop fly, and he rolled up on his wrist that he had surgery on, ruptured teeth. So I mean, immediately grabbed his wrist, obviously in pain. Everybody was worried that he had re-injured that sheath, which would have put him out for a couple of months. 6 months, I think, was the last time. But they took him in the back. They took X-rays. He traveled with the team to Tampa Bay. They did put him on the injured list. It's a broken wrist, so he's only going to be out for 6 weeks, which is a lot better than something requiring surgery. In the way of repairing a ruptured sheath again. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Hopefully that when he comes back off the injured reserve list, he does his rehab start down in AAA, down in Worcester, with the Red Sox farm team. He's confident enough in his swing, confident enough in his wrist where he can come back up with the big club and get things going in the right direction again. NASCAR visited Bristol this weekend for the annual dirt race. I'm kind of conflicted on the dirt race. Those cars were not built to race on dirt. NASCAR seems to think that it's a great crowd draw. A lot of fans, a lot of drivers are starting to look at it more of a novelty race than anything else. Bristol was built to race on concrete.
Yeah, look, everybody loves a dirt track and everybody loves dirt track racing, but it's not with a street car.
Yeah. And NASCAR
all that dust and everything hitting the events.
Right. NASCAR officials issued an indefinite suspension for Cup Series driver Cody Ware yesterday.
What happened on that?
The Iredell County, North Carolina Sheriff's Office listed Ware in its jail records Monday, indicating that he was held on a felony charge of assault by strangulation, inflict serious injury, and a misdemeanor charge of assault on a female. Sheriff's records also indicated that his bond was set at $3,000 after his arrest. Now, he sat out this weekend's event at Bristol's dirt track with Rick Ware Racing. So I think that's the team that his dad owns. So it's a Cup Series team owned by his father, releasing a statement Saturday morning that the 27-year-old driver had stepped away to focus on a personal matter. No shit, right? Craftsman Truck Series regular Matt Crafton substituted for Ware in the 51 Ford, finishing 34th after an engine failure. Now, Rick Ware Racing issued a statement on their Twitter page yesterday. We are aware of the incident regarding Cody Ware and his indefinite suspension from NASCAR competition. We understand NASCAR's position on their matter and accept their decision. And it goes on to say, let me do this here real quick. Come on. I love when you click on a tweet in an article and it takes you to Twitter and you're like, and it doesn't take you to the tweet. It should take you to the damn tweet.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
There, Cody Ware. There we go. So Bob Pockrass, who's a NASCAR journalist, who's a reporter. I mean, he took a screenshot from the police blotter that you can get online.
Yeah.
No mugshot, but his next court date was the 10th. Well, it would have said the 10th. So he was arraigned the same day. There's his mugshot out there. Let me
Quick question.
see.
See if you can share that on the thing.
Yeah, let me pull this over here real quick.
Because I'm seeing how this works. If anything, I'm gonna send you all the stuff that we need to pop.
Yeah, let me do this real quick. Okay.
There we
So
go.
there he is. Wonderful, wonderful man. Come on. There we go. All right, so there's his mugshot. There's the blotter report. And then let me see. Brian France, who was the son or the grandson of Bill France, the founder of NASCAR. He was arrested a couple of years ago. I can't remember what the charges were, but that's epic right there. That's something that I would enjoy listening to.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's actually
Let me see here. He was arrested and charged with felony assault by strangulation, inflicting serious injury, and misdemeanor assault on a woman. So it's like, okay, I'm completely good with the
verdict.
yeah, I'm good with the suspension because I just
That's more what fucking in the NFL does.
Listen, you catch a felony charge, then yeah, you're done.
yeah, I mean, unlike the Jeremy Mayfield situation where it was obvious that Brian France had a personal vendetta against Jeremy Mayfield and was just stacking the deck against him. Cody Ware, yeah, dude, you were caught red-handed, man. I mean, if it's a felony assault charge by strangulation and then assault on a female, dude, there's no place for people like you in racing. I mean, there's just not.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, get back in a dirt car or maybe a midget sprint and go race there. And you'll find out real quick how tough of a guy you are, because the second you drive across somebody's nose in one of those leagues or one of those series, somebody's gonna whoop your ass in the pits.
Yep.
Because I mean, it's not a Friday night at the local dirt track unless there's a fight in the pit area.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
I'm gonna send you this article then. Let's do it this way. The old. Now, this has actually been happening quite a lot here recently. Come on, paste.
okay, so I found that Rick Ware racing tweet. The matter is still under investigation, and Cody is fully cooperating with the authorities as due process takes its course. RWR is committed to continuing our multi-car efforts in the NASCAR Cup Series and is in the process of finalizing our plans for the 51 entry at Martinsville Speedway and beyond. These plans will be announced in the coming days. So, fine. Let me see here. Oh, yeah. All right. So let me go ahead and pull that up.
Yep.
What I'll do is I'll read this real quick, and then I'm gonna give Colin a call for his weekly segment. And then so let me do this. So this is from Scientific Community, science.org. Thank you, David, for the link on that. World Athletics banned transgender women from competing. Does science support the rule? Okay, now, before I fly off the handle and read judge a book by its cover, or in this case, an article by its title, we're going to actually we're going to give it its due diligence. We're going to read the article, and then we'll kind of spitball it a little bit here. This article is dated the 4th of April this year.
Yeah.
So World Athletics, the governing body for track and field and other running competitions, announced last month that transgender women who went through male puberty can no longer compete in women's events at international competitions. The policy took effect on 31 March. The WA also ruled that to compete as a woman, athletes with differences of sexual development, or DSD, who have congenital conditions that cause atypical sex development must have a testosterone level below 2.2 nanomoles per liter for at least 24 months before an international competition. WA said its rules prioritized fairness and, quote, integrity of female competition. Remember that.
Yeah.
Organization's president, Sebastian Coe, said, quote, we will be guided in this by the science around physical performance and the male advantage, which will inevitably develop over the coming years, end quote. Now I'm going to stop right there. I agree wholeheartedly. Absolutely. You can't go compete with the men, be ranked 451st in the world, and then all of a sudden decide that the next day, oh, I'm going to be a woman, and then go out and be ranked number one. Okay. There are women who are born women, biologically, genetically women. What you identify as does not matter, because your sex, your biological sex, should dictate where you can compete in the world. And I'm talking about athletics. I'm not talking about the hierarchy or whatever. So just call them your feminist tits down. All right. If we're talking about feminism, I mean, the National Organization for Women, your banner's wrinkled. You'd think that at the very least, before you hang it at your national conventions, you could fucking iron the damn thing. Yeah, come at me, please. All right. There are women who are born women, females. They've gone through female puberty, or they're about to in the case of Chinese gymnasts competing in the Olympics.
Or those sprinters.
They have worked their entire lives to get to that stage, to be able to compete at that level with other biological women. And then you're going to come in here, or rather, you're going to go in there, tucking Mr. Winky like Finkel and Einhorn, hoping, praying that your banana hammock holds out long enough for you to get down the pool, or that you're going to be able to take some Gorilla Glue pasties and keep your boys tethered together so that the way they don't flop out of your tracksuit while you're running the 400 medley, whatever, or the 1600 medley, whatever it is. If you were born a man, or you have a testosterone level higher than the threshold put out by the WA, keep your hairy ass at home. If you want to find a place that can competitively pay your salary, bless you, David.
Sorry.
I don't know. Maybe take up trans porn or something. I don't know. Okay. There's a subreddit and a complete genre of pornography that is tailor-made specifically for people with your mental capacity. Go for it. Knock yourself out. Don't really care. Just, don't barge in to an area of competition where you're going to have an obvious advantage, because at some point your two ball bearings and stick shift were pumping testosterone fiercely enough into your body that made you stronger. And I'm not saying that there's not women out there that couldn't beat the shit out of some soy boys out there. We know that they all exist.
Well, here's
the United States Army saw fit enough to lower the standards at the United States Army Ranger School to let women graduate that, become infantry people, and go on to, I don't know, think that they can serve in a combat capacity. I'm not saying that there's not women out there that couldn't do the job.
Well, here's the thing about that article, though, is the main fact of once they hit once men hit puberty.
Yeah. Once you hit puberty,
their body changes to the fact of their muscle structure, their bone structure. It is 100 times stronger than a woman. And even going for the basic fact, what is the average foot size of a woman?
Well,
No, just hear me out on this. The
Okay,
average
so
looks
all right,
on
so
woman.
like my wife wears a size 7,
Okay.
a women's shoe.
And
Not a big foot.
she's
Not a big foot. I think like comparatively speaking, I think 7 women's equates to like
and not and
I
she's
think it's like a
very
size 5.5 or 6 in
yeah.
men's. You know, so
But she is a woman. I mean, she's tall,
she
she's
is
strong.
every bit of a woman. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And that's actually above par. For men, 13 size 13. That's average.
Like I wear a size 11 shoe.
Yeah. You're
You
a little
know.
bit below average. I'm way below average.
It's
Size
not
difference and everything.
about it's about how you use it. Everybody knows.
Yeah. Thank you. But anyways, as a swimmer with the Liz Taylor size 13, I mean, you get that extra power just by your feet alone. I think I said that name right. No, it's Liz.
Yeah, I kind of get where you're going. All right, so but the article goes on. There's a PhD by the name of Joanna Harper. She's a student at Loughborough University. She studies transgender athletes' performance. It's like, okay, now we've got these cottage industry areas of study to basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Legitimize a mental disorder.
Yeah.
And let's just call it what it is. It's a mental disorder. Oh, I identify as a woman. No, you're just gay. And there's nothing wrong with that. There have been gay people since the dawn of time. Okay. But it's not about before we go down that deep, but let's just not go down that road right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So, she said that she questions whether the WA fully considered the scientific evidence. She said, quote, "I was disappointed with the decision because, shockers of all shockers, Joanna Harper is a transgender. So I'm willing to bet Joanna used to be Joe at some point. The idea that it was necessary to ban trans women to protect the female category seems so far-fetched. She says the new rule discriminates against trans athletes and likely will hinder research on transgender athletic performance." Well, no kidding. Okay. It's like you're not going to see a transgender man, somebody who's like, oh, I used to be a woman and now I'm a dude. So yeah. You're not going to see her going out there playing in the NBA.
Yeah, you don't see that.
You're not going to see her out there strapping on the pads and playing middle linebacker on the NFL in the NFL anytime soon.
I would pay to see that only because I would just see a human body just.
It'd be like that NFL or that ESPN snippet from the Water Boy, where they get the legitimate like underage water boy coming across the middle and he gets laid out. Yeah, that's what it would look like, man. Because I'm sorry.
I still like
dudes in the NFL. They do not play.
No.
You're not going to see somebody who formerly identified as a woman that made the transition to become a male, at least on the outside, applying for a position, even on the lowest tier team in the NHL.
Well, you also have
hockey players and the U.S. women's hockey team. They ain't nothing to screw with. I mean, there's some they're pretty fierce.
Well, you also have Canada. What happened? I guess a couple of weeks ago. And I'm sorry I didn't bring this up for the last couple. What had happened is the Canadian weightlifting document for going in is they are not allowed to say, okay, even though you have a beard, you're signing up as a woman, doesn't mean you get to do this. No, they're not allowed to. And this male power lifter goes in, I'm a woman. Crushes. And he did this on purpose.
Wasn't there a South Park episode where
Yes, there was. That was a
Macho
couple.
Man Randy Savage is like, oh yeah.
I'm not here to talk about my transition.
Right.
I'm only here to
I'm all about the competition, you know. But
no, he literally the world record for Canada was like 260 pounds for a deadlift, I think. Or no. It was on the table. Fuck. Oh, what is that? It's not deadlift.
yeah.
But anyways,
You got guys that are going out there that they want to get on a podium, but they're not willing to put in the work that is required to get onto a podium in the men's
oh no,
world.
this guy literally did this
Mhm.
because he knew it was a joke.
Oh,
It
well,
wasn't it was more of a state political statement. Okay. That's where he was.
Oh.
He wasn't trying to get any on any podium or anything. He wasn't trying to say this is me. I'm so brave. Blah blah blah. No, he did it, and he was like, "This is how fucking ridiculous you are."
100%. It was a statement because he didn't even hide. Like he was wearing regular shorts. He was wearing. He didn't even trim his beard. He was wearing a tank top. Like he full on went up there as a dude and was just like, I'm a girl now. And they're like, no, thank God.
I still like his
Okay.
world breaking. He's just like 360 pounds. Boom, boom. Okay, good. Don't have to spot me for that one, buddy.
Right.
Out of here.
Yeah, no.
Right.
And then the woman that actually the records that he broke, the woman came on and she's like, this is just a travesty. I can't believe this is happening. I mean, honestly, I thought she was a man and transitioning as a woman, so it's kind of that type of thing. But it was seriously, it's like, I can't believe he'd do this to us. What about the transgender woman that wanted to? I was like, maybe that should work out. Maybe it should beef up.
Right.
But they don't want.
Let me see here.
But I was looking at another article, and it was a transgender woman talking about being should women be allowed in sports and everything, and she's transgender for like 20 years, and she's like, I'll tell you this right now, my body is built differently, even though I identify as a woman now. My body is built differently than women. I understand that. I realize it. It was a breath of air because she was like, and I'll call her she. I mean, even though she was a very, 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 very manly woman, but she was saying the basic facts of my body is built different. I would take down and rip apart a woman easily because I'm still built different even after I went through puberty. And I mean, we could go on a tangent, which we should go on a tangent, especially with the whole thing with transgender women wanting okay.
Kind of like just leading up into
Yeah.
Colin segment. Okay.
But now I lost my train of fucking
Transgender.
I got it.
Built different.
There's so much stuff that we can go up on this one. Yeah. There's so much stuff we can go on this, like grooming our kids, blah blah blah. There's a lot of stuff that we're finally state to states, it's Texas especially, they're going off the spot. It was like, listen, we're trying to protect our daughters from this bullshit.
Yeah, personally, I think that parents that make that decision for their kids, like, oh, my kid played with a Barbie doll and I thought he liked it, so we're going to put him on puberty blockers and make him a girl.
Yeah,
I think people like that, they should lose custody of their kids, because to me, that's abuse.
Well, there was this
physical abuse. and it's physical abuse on a molecular level.
Yes, exactly. Now we're gonna get into with the rest of the stuff, but the last thing that we I wanted to speak on this is the basic fact there was a guy that was getting divorced, and I forget, I think it was like Tennessee or something like that.
Mhm.
The wife ended up grabbing the kids, going to California, saying their kids are transgender, and just basically stopping any kind of stuff for the man to even trying to get his kids back. Basically,
Yeah.
Wasn't he here in Texas? I thought he was here in Texas.
Yeah,
Was it
he
Texas?
was.
Okay.
He is. Yeah, he is. Him and his wife are going through a divorce somewhere here in Texas. She takes the kids, runs off to California, and then claims that both of the kids are transgender. And a California judge terminated his rights.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was trying to transition them. He was fighting it, so the judge took away his.
Actually, no, I don't think he did get his rights terminated. I think he fought, and I think he actually ended up winning. He got the custody of his kids back.
That might have been an appeal then, because I know the initial call was
Yeah,
that.
the initial call was the other way. I
Right.
think he fought it on an appeal. I think he did win.
Yeah, I hadn't
But,
heard that.
before we let me bring Colin in here real quick, and then
I'm bringing Mindy in.
all right.
What's the while he's doing that, what are you doing exactly in Dallas?
Me?
Yeah, next week.
Nothing. I was supposed to be in Utah. That trip got canceled. That trip got canceled.
Oh, so you'll be in for next week?
So I am. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
Well,
Nope, I am here.
So
Oh
you're gonna need
no,
to,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there you
We're
go.
talking
You
about.
need to be in the
Oh,
shot.
I'll tell you off there.
okay.
Oh, okay. All
Just because I
right.
don't know if we've had an announcement
Um,
or
Oh.
what the
you
discussion.
guys are just seeing him on the screen, right?
Yeah, we're just seeing him on the screen.
Okay. All right. Now, before we get into this, we're going to do a live read real quick. And for those of you in the podcasting world who know what a live read is, great. If not, let me educate you a little bit. It's a.
Can you do that afterwards
do it
because you're not
afterwards?
Yeah,
we
do
can
it
afterwards.
after the Collins
not a
call
problem.
because I can barely hear you.
Colin needs to unpause his screen because I know he's probably getting a call, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, as
You
soon
are
as he's
viewing Johnny's
done there, they can wait. There he is.
There
All
we
right,
go.
Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, biological men and women of all ages. It is that time once again. We gather around our phone screens, our computer screens, or the speakers in our car. We hang our hopes, our dreams, our wishes, wants, needs, and desires for humanity on the hopes or on the shoulders of a soon to be 14-year-old boy. Hailing from the deepest, darkest nether regions of my loins. Here for your entertainment. It is joke time with Colin.
What does a pack of gum and a gun have in common? When you pull it out in class, everybody wants to be your friend.
Ooh, that's gonna piss some people off.
Wow, I was not ready for that one. Okay.
Coming out strong.
How many kids does it? How many kids does it take to change a light bulb? Apparently more than 32 because my basement's still dark.
Oh,
Oh man.
Yeah. The thing. I'm like,
you got another one?
no.
That was it?
Yeah.
That's good enough.
Okay. All right.
It was a solid offering.
Well,
Yes.
yes. Good enough.
So, if you paid attention during my intro, this Friday, our Colin, our host of Joke Time with Colin, my son, my genetic code, he turns 14.
Yay. Happy birthday, Colin.
Happy birthday, man.
Happy early birthday. You know you're getting a call from me on your birthday.
Mhm.
So yeah. If the Angry Faithful would like to contribute to the Colin birthday fund, by all means, feel free to do so. He's really gunning for a copy of the new Zelda game coming out at the end of the month.
No, it comes out on the 13th.
The third. It comes out the day before your birthday.
13th of May.
Oh, the 13th.
Oh.
Okay. Still, it'll be a belated gift, but I know that he's going to get one at the very least because I've already got one pre-ordered for him.
So excited.
But you can help a guy out, right? Anyways, I know that was a shameless plug. Bud, I'm gonna let you get back to your game and call back, which I'm assuming was your cousin. Was I right? Was it your cousin?
No,
No?
it was mom.
Okay. Well, you go take care of that cough, and I'll let you get back to what you're doing. Let brother know that I love you guys, and I will call you later this week, okay?
I love you.
All right, later, bud. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, he is gone, disappeared into the fog. Never, I wouldn't say never to never be seen again, because like Sean Connery taught us, never say never again. But the hopes, dreams of humanity ride off into the wilderness for yet another week until we can come together to be consoled, to be lifted up. By the savagery, the humanity, and the civility that we all have come to know and love. That was Joke Time with Colin. Brought to you this week, this is a shameless plug, by Mobile Notary with Mindy. My wife is a mobile notary now. She has gotten several certifications. She has a Facebook page. So mobile notary Mindy at facebook.com. She has an email address, mobilenotarymindy@gmail.com. Send her a message if you need anything notarized, and you're right now within driving distance of the Lake Jackson area. She'll meet you. She'll notarize whatever you need to notarize. And yeah, so there's that. What else do we got, guys?
That's about it.
That's about it. I say that was a well-rounded, almost seemed like a structured show. It was kind of scary.
Yeah, I actually did my due diligence and started looking at shit, so we could actually have like a decent conversation. Because I know we're laxed on the sports show of actually conversating a little bit, because it's more or less Johnny's the only one that really goes through sports. Chris does a little bit. He puts his pinky toe in and goes, "This is cold," and pulls it back out.
No. Because in light of the fact that the Super Mario Brothers movie was released last week, must go see this, people. I'm telling you. Mr. Chris Jacka's beard is reminiscent of Jack Black's real life beard right now. I'm just saying, you're putting it out there. And because Jack Black is more than just an actor, he is the front man for quite possibly one of the greatest rock bands in the history of the world. They're not a trio. They're not a quartet, ladies and gentlemen. They're a duo. Two kings, better known as Tenacious D. And in light of that revelation of information, Chris Yaka doesn't dip his pinky toe in and go, that's cold. He dips his toes in the jacuzzi, baby.
I don't dip. I slide them in.
I mean, sometimes you don't always have to fuck them hard. It's not, sometimes it's just not right to do. Sometimes you gotta make some love and give them a little
Smooches too.
mooches too. Yeah. I mean, it's not my favorite dish, but I'll order it from Zanzibar. What's your favorite position? That's cool with me. It's not my favorite, but I'll do it for you.
But
No idea what we're talking about, or do you, David?
He has no clue which.
and I'm not happy about that. Sometimes being oblivious about shit. You
All
just-
right, David, do yourself.
No. I don't have to make
I'll
myself fit.
educate. I will educate him
Jesus Christ! I said no.
properly. Oh, you act like there's an option. What is- what do you think you're
Don't make
talking
him listen to the Pick of Destiny. Don't.
I don't
No.
know who Tenacious D is.
The debut album.
Yep.
From Tribute all the way
Starts
to
from-
Speed.
Very first song, one of the best
Yeah.
ones they had. Starts with Kielbasa, runs all the way through. Kielbasa is one of the greatest songs of all.
Kielbasa. Yeah.
Fucking love that song so much.
Dianetics, your butt cheeks is warm.
Yep.
Oh yeah. to put it
It's
into
not
perspective.
Kickapoo. It's not Kickapoo, but it's solid. It's great.
Oh yeah. And it's
Kickapoo.
not Lee.
Best.
It's not Lee. I mean, we're talking fucking Lee here.
Lee.
David, it'll all make sense.
David.
You will be a better person for it. And Tenacious D's debut album is one of those, and Dio was a great song.
Oh God, yes.
But
Roddy.
you'll find yourself that when you're in one of those moods to drink and you're just wanting to laugh and be a part of something bigger than yourself, instead of jumping in the middle of a BBC bukkake, just put on some Tenacious D and sing at the top of your lungs.
That's fucking teamwork.
Well,
Yeah. I mean,
I'm David Ickerman.
I'm Johnny Skelton.
And I am Chris Jacka.
Thank
And
you
while
all
this
for
was not
listening.
the greatest sports episode in the world, it was merely a tribute.
It was.
Click
Thank
it
you all
off.
for listening. Thank you all for watching. Good night. Love you guys.